Hey guys, it's Nathan from the Fitting Bay. Today we're going to be looking at a subwoofer install for this Ford Falcon XR6. This is a BA, but everything we do will be the same for BA, BF, FG, even up to the newer models. You can use these techniques pretty much any Falcon. So this is what we're putting in. It's the kick pack. This comes with the amp, sub, power wire, RCAs, remote, ground. We're going to go through everything, what everything does and how it works. You're also going to need a line level converter. This is a 2-channel line level converter from AirPro. You can get heaps of different brands. Rockford Fosgate do a good one. You can get 2-channel, 4-channel. Because we're only doing a sub, it's just going to be 2-channel. Some of the stuff we're going to need is I've got a drill with a Phillips head and some screws. We've got soldering iron, solder, cutters, wire strippers, knife, panel remover, zip ties, test light. This is a snake. I've used a coat hanger and just straightened it out. So this is how you can get through the firewall. Some fleece tape and some electrical tape. Now I've already had a look at this car. Someone's had an amp in it in the past. So there's already a power wire run through it, which is the same gauge as what comes in the kit. So we can use that. You can see it here. So basically it runs down, goes down here, follows the loom. That's the fuse, which comes in a wiring kit. And it goes up here, attaches to there, and into the firewall through there, which is where I would have gone anyway. Now, if you don't buy a pack like this, you need sub, amp, and a wiring kit that has power, ground. There's also some speaker wire in there, RCAs, and remote wire. All right, so we've got everything out. Sub, line level converter, so basically speaker level goes here, so you can tap that onto 2 speakers, left and right, and it will give you the RCA outputs to go into the amp. That's the speaker wire, so that will connect those together. This is what's already been run. Like I said, same gauge, so same thickness, so we don't need to use that. Ground. RCAs, obviously there to the amp. Remote, which has already been run, but we'll double check that. Speaker popper, which I will go through and show you. You need a AA battery. Okay, so first things first, we'll grab our test light, ground it. So obviously it's showing you where there's power, all right? So we make sure we've got power here at the plug. We check one side of the fuse. Oh, that's hot. So it lights up. Other side, lights up. Perfect. I've already checked this. It's a 60 amp fuse in there. So that's fine. It's plenty for what we're doing. All right, let's start pulling the car apart. So we've got Phillips head, 2 Phillips heads. So a lot of these cars by now aren't in the best condition, so just be careful. Alright, put this up somewhere nicely on his baby seat. This panel pulls down. Alright, remove this rubber. You can usually pop this out. Perfect. All right, there's a clip. So we can remove this. Try and pull it out of the way. All right. This panel here pulls off. get it, like so. This panel slides forward. Might be easier like that. Like so. And we've got a random screw. Then we can start lifting this up. Okay, now we should be able to peel this back. There we go. Alright. So we can see here our power and remote that they've run. Alright, so there's a little blue plug right there. And we can see what they've done. The blue wire, we could see that that goes into one of the pins. Now, I'll show you how to test for this, but just get a look at that. Okay. This blue plug is what I would have used anyway. Now they've put pins into the plug, which is alright. If you can get up there and solder the wire, that's another way to do it. So the blue wire goes into this pin, which is black with a yellow trace. And what we'll do now is get our test light. Okay, so we'll ground our test light to the body like a bolt, and we can test the pins now. It doesn't light up. It doesn't light up. It doesn't light up. I think this one should light up. That one lights up. So that's constant. We're not using that in this case, but it shows you how the test light works. It's showing you that that's getting a constant feed from the battery, but we don't want that because the amp won't turn off. The blue wire, however, should only turn on when we put the key in the ignition, or switch the ignition on rather. So, switch it on. We should have power. Perfect. And then obviously switch it off, power goes off. So we can use that. Now, what we'll look at is speaker. I'll probably wear this. So, we're looking for a twisted pair of wires. In Fords, the wiring colors are always the same. And the front right is grey. Oh, I'd be lying. Grey green, grey black, I think. Something like that. And just keep looking until you find it, because they do change slightly in the BABFs in where they are. But when you see a twisted pair, you can't miss it. No, it's up here somewhere. Alright, make a liar out of me. There it is. So we've got... Now there is... It's twisted pairs in this car is not just speakers. So don't just think any twisted pair is a speaker. But in this case, we've got... Right there, if you can see... Grey, green, grey, black, like I said. So we'll get that. Yeah. This is how to do it properly. So you can get your left and right from just that on the line level converter. You can put the left side together. I'll show you. So the quick and nasty way would B to get your line level converter. So we see here grey, grey, black, and white, white, black. You can put grey, black, white, black together, and grey and white together. So you've just got one left, one right, and tap it onto your left and right here. In Ford, it's nice and easy. When you do speakers, anything with a black trace is negative, and the other color, green, or one of them is orange, that's positive. So you can do that. So you can go left and right to one and left and right to the other, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to do it properly, which means I'll show you how to run a wire from glove box over to here. Now for this side, to test the speaker, what we're going to do, we're going to need our wire strippers. So we'll strip. You can also do this with cutters, but you'll probably cut the wire if you've not got any practice with it. So just try and get some wire strippers. All right. Now our battery. This is our AA battery. One side, doesn't matter what's what. We've just got a strip wire like that. Put it on, say negative. Got the red side, positive. Tape it up nicely so they don't fall out. And then we're going to pop the speaker. So we can put that there. So that's touching the copper. We touch the other side and we can hear. So that's the driver's speaker. Perfect. So then on this, they've just used universal colors. It doesn't tell you what's left and right. Yeah, it does. High input. Oh no, they don't. Anyway, grey, like this, is right, driver's side. So we'll get grey, black stripe, put it to grey, black stripe, and grey to grey, green. Alright, so we've connected our right speaker, like I said, greys to greys, soldered the connection. So every connection we do, we're going to solder them. It's the best way to do it. Or if you're going to use lugs like what they've done in there, that's alright too. In this case, solder. Now to test our connection. Alright, perfect. Now we'll go over and grab the left speaker. So we've just pulled down the glove box. To get this down, there's a little tab here at the top. So all you've got to do is just push down on it, and then the glove box will pop out, and then it comes up. And up. Off that. Off these little hinges here, if you can see that. Okay, so behind the glove box, there's a big loom right there. We're going to pull that out. There's a little clip that goes right there. You can pop that out, and then we'll open the loom. Okay, in here we're going to find the other 3 speakers. So we've got orange, green, orange, black, which I'm pretty sure is the driver's left, which is what we want. We need a left speaker. Rear, I'll be lying, but we can test these as we've seen. Pink, green, pink, black is a rear, and blue, red, blue, black is another rear. So there's our 3 speakers. We only need a left speaker. We'll take the left driver speaker. You can see there, and like I said, there is more twisted pairs. So there's a twisted pair here. Obviously they're not speakers, so stay away. All the speaker data is online as well, so if you just Google it, there's heaps of pages with it, but we now know how to test, so it doesn't matter. Alright, I'll pick up the left speaker and we'll go from there. Okay, so orange, green, orange, black is our left speaker. We've got some speaker wire here. What we're going to do is we've soldered our connections. We'll tape this loom back up and then tuck it back behind this panel and put our clip back in. And we're going to run this wire behind the glove box. I'll get my torch. So this speaker wire we're gonna run it behind the glove box, underneath the radio and the climate, and over to the driver's side. Alright, so we've run our speaker wire underneath here, and we've tucked it up with the factory loom. I've connected it here to the factory loom. We've connected it here to the factory loom. We've gone up behind the fuse box and across to here. So we'll tape that, or zip tie that up a little bit higher when we're finished. And so that's our left speaker, which we're going to connect to the white wires on the line level converter. So let's just do a bit of a recap. You've run the power wire from the battery with the fuse. Remote wire goes to that accessory plug. If you've got fuse taps, you can find the audio fuse, or actually no, that constant A. You can use your test light to find an ignition, and you can tap it in. So either or, but this is fine what we've got here. So we've got the remote in. We've tapped onto our driver's side speaker, which was grey, green, grey, black. We didn't chop any wires. We just stripped them and attached to them, or tapped on. Soldered our wires, taped up all of our connections, taped up the wires so it looks nice. We've done it on the left side, so behind the glove box. We connected to our orange, green, what was it? Yeah, I think it's orange, green, orange, black. That's going to connect to our left speaker. So we'll connect this up, plug in our RCAs, tidy this up, and get ready to run our wires to the back. Okay, so we've got line level converter plugged in. We've plugged the RCAs into the bottom end there. All our wiring has been taped up. Now, I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible, with it also being a professional install. So you don't have random wires running like on the outside and it looks like absolute arse. So you can tuck that module into there, so we can still put our panel back on. We've got that wiring. Now the RCAs run with the power and the remote. This is okay for the simple sub and amp install that we're doing. If you're doing a 4-channel or anything else, anything else other than a simple sub and amp, RCAs and power need to get run on the opposite side of the car. So RCA, you can do power on the driver, RCAs, remote and speaker wire on the passenger side. Very important, very, very important, or you'll get noise and it's terrible. For today and for this install, what we're doing here is fine. You're not going to get noise or anything like that. It will sound good. Just keep that in mind. So anyway, RCAs, we're going to run along here. We're going to go along underneath this panel through there. If you didn't see that, again, through there, under there, out through here, just like the other 2 wires, up underneath the seat, and then up here. So we'll run them. The seat, from memory, just pops up. So just from underneath here, you can pull, then it will come up, but you can almost tuck the wiring as well. So we'll see what's easier. So once we've got our wiring through underneath that panel, it comes up, the seat just pulls up. All right, you can run it in there, underneath with the other 2 wires, and then meet your hand down there and pull it through. So you obviously feed it up behind and then meet it there. So we're just putting these panels back on. This panel here just slides behind the bolt for the seat belt, and then there's 2 clips underneath. When you're putting the panels back on, make sure your wiring is out of the way of any clips. Now, it sounds obvious, but it's a very common mistake. I've fixed up a lot of jobs of people. Speakers not working, things not working because they've slammed the panel back on, and it's gone right through one of their wires. This panel just slides up behind underneath the seat, sits down onto that. We make sure our screw holes line up, and then we just pop our screws back in. Now we're back to the front. So this panel is just clips all along. Again, we're making sure the wiring doesn't get eaten up by any of the clips. We've tucked our module in behind there so this panel sits nicely. We've put that clip back. We're gonna put our side panel on, our fuse box cover. So you see the 3 little feet, they have little clips to go into. They go up. Alright, hard to do this with one hand, but clips for that. And then we get back to putting our covers here on. Very common in these cars. This thing's always broken. So this is the first panel that goes on after fitting this. There's a clip right there, which goes into that part of the seat. So we'll slide underneath. And push. Oh, that's it. That's on. It's very loose. Then we can put this panel back on. So we line it up, sit it on, we've got the screws. And we'll put our screws back, and then we can go to the back. Rear panel, rear seat clip is the same thing. There's 2 clips there, so they just push on. We make sure our little tongue goes underneath the rail, our 2 tongues. So now we've got everything run to the back. We've got our ground, power from the battery, and remote wire. The ground obviously 3 screws and mounted it to the body. If you don't have drill or screwdrivers and you've got a socket set, you can leave the back seat off, which like I said before, just pulls up and out, and you can connect the ground to a seat bolt. So we've taped up our wiring with a nice fabric tape. We'll tuck that down there. So all the wiring we see is taped up nicely. We'll put the amp roughly where it's gonna go. So it's gonna go sort of in the middle about here, so it doesn't hit the top or the bottom of any of those panels there. RCAs, we'll plug them in. RCAs plug in, we'll tape it up. The rest of the bundle gets tucked underneath. And speaker wire, obviously we're going to use it for the sub. And then on the amp, you've got, just make sure you can see that, ground, remote, and 12 volt. So 12 volt is going to be the battery wire, remote's going to be the little blue wire, and ground is obviously ground. The remote wire is what tells the amp to turn on. If it was just these 2 without a remote, it would stay on all the time and it'll drain your battery. Now, 2-channel amp, we're just running a sub off of it, so you can see plus minus plus minus. What we're going to do is bridge it, so we're going to use the plus from one side and the minus from the other. Alright, so either or, but yeah, makes sense. Okay, so we've got everything done nicely. Battery, remote, ground, all connected. This is how we've done it, the amp to bridge it. So this is positive of one channel, that's negative of the other. That's called bridging. Now I'm gonna actually close the seat, jump into the boot, and look at how and where we're gonna mount this so that it doesn't hit anything. That way we're not guessing. And oh yeah, if you use this kick pack, or if you use speaker wire that doesn't actually tell you what's negative and positive, you probably can't really see, but you can feel and you can tell when you're looking at it. One is a square and one is round, and also one's thicker than the other. The thicker wire is your positive. and also some wiring has its, you know, plus and minuses on it, so you can, yeah, figure it out quite easily. You will need a drill, by the way, to mount the amp. Okay, so amp is mounted on the back seat. We've got it pretty much as low as it can go, and straight. So when we can still close our seat, fold it down. It can still fold down. RCA is taped up, bundled away. Powers going down. Speaker wire taped up in there, so that's easy, positive and negative straight to the sub. I will tape these up a little bit more just here, so just to make it look a little bit better. Okay, so the customer has a CD. We've just gone through the settings, made sure all the equalizers are flat, so that when we tune this, it's not tuned with the bass up really high or something. Now, we can change, so if we change that to low level, it sounds like shit. So leave it at high. Gain in the middle, got bass is pretty good. Play with this crossover, so it's on low, high, off. So it needs to be on low, high or off. It's playing too much of the actual sound of the music through the speakers. All right, bass boost, turn it on or off. I will leave it on for this customer, and they can turn the bass down on the factory system. And that's pretty much it. So, mount that. That's, everything's in. Go over everything that you do. So just make sure no wiring, no panels are out. Everything looks like it was untouched. Alright, we'll go through, check out all of our tools, all the little bits and pieces that's ours, get rid of it. We can have a look at the back so we can see it's pumping. It's not even loud, bass isn't turned up. This thing's gonna, they sound really good for a cheap sub option. Different ways of mounting the sub. You can look at sort of the straps that mount, so you bolt to the body of the car and the straps mount to the sub. You can look at back strap. Some people just like Velcro on the bottom of the sub and to the carpet. All right, doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, that's about it. Have a listen. Thanks for watching. So this was a complete guide on how to fit a sub to pretty much any Falcon with a factory radio. You can actually change the radios in the BABF. You can add a single DIN, which I will make a video of in the future. But yeah, any Falcon, add factory sub, or add sub to the factory system. This is pretty much how-to guide.